American Pit Bull Terrier. The famous fight test.
In my opinion, the pit bull dog fight test is an important part of breeding. I believe that the fight test is misunderstood by some dog breeders. There is a lot of advice, wrong, written about the fight test. Reports by breeders about testing dogs and handling methods are either full of exaggerations or lies. I will write about what I believe. Why a dog should be tested. And as I do this test. If you don't agree, disregard my article, or write your own. I will give my opinion, regardless of whether it is accepted or coincides with your opinion. I don't care if some readers disagree with me. If I succeed, benefit some, I will be happy. So please do not send letters, denouncing our article. I arrived at this conclusion, thanks to 30 years of experience, in keeping a kennel, with more than 100 dogs. I won't change my mind, to please you. And I believe that no experienced breeder will change his mind to please me. This article is written for everyone who is just starting out. And that there is, the need, to read some opinions, different.
What is a fight test?
I believe that the fight test is something serious for your dog. Not always, the test, will need to last 30 minutes, or more. A 30-minute fight, your dog will be injured, tired or defeated. A fight test is to show you how your dog behaves when he is tired and under attack from another dog. Does he have the courage to try for a victory, even with a stronger dog, and in conditions of fatigue? In the fight, how many times is he attacking the opponent? How does he behave, in the corner? How does your dog attack the other dog, who has the upper hand? The fight test will answer all of that. The test is performed with animals of the same sex.
Why am I testing my American Pit Bull Terrier?
One of the reasons for a combat role is to determine whether he will participate in combat. The better the dog is as a fighter, the fewer tests he will need to pass. For example, if you have a dog that beat a dog of the same size easily, he, too, will do well in the fight. There is no need to take a dog nearly to death on a test run. Maybe, he doesn't even need it, in a fight. Yeah, he will be, the best dog, in most fights. A dog with low gameness will need to attack from the back if he wants to win. I would do more detailed tests before betting on this dog. Why do you get hooked on your style, stamina, and will to win the fight? Another reason for the fight test. It is for the use of reproduction. Any male or female that is going to breed must pass a test. So will be analyzed the courage, resistance and gameness. If they don't pass this test, I won't breed. Even if it's from a great bloodline.
What is the right age to start the test?
I believe that a dog must be at least 2 years old. And he must have psychological maturity for the test. Some dogs, with developmental delays, are not ready for testing at age 2. You should be guided by behavior, not age. Your dog has to be healthy. The test requires a lot of stress, on the heart system, and on every muscle. I do not condition the dog for a test. He must be on weight, and healthy. He doesn't need the same training he will need to fight. One of the reasons for doing the test is to see how the dog behaves when it is tired. If he is conditioned, it will take longer for him to tire. And that will make you have an increase in punishment. I also, in the test, analyze the natural breathing of the dog. And if the dog had already been trained for 6 weeks, it would be impossible to do this analysis. I test a bigger dog, and one that fights well, but not a dog that bites hard. That is, the dog does not cause damage. I think most dogs stop fighting because they are tired. Yeah, they don't suffer much with the bites. The goal is to test the dog, not break his bones. I avoid testing with dogs that attack in the mouth, so that the dog does not break the teeth. You need to know how to take the test. Take an opponent who is of the same sex. A dog that weighs about 5 kilos more. He must be a good fighter, but he cannot bite hard. The dog has to be experienced, but not a dog to tear apart, nor to break bones. Watch the fight, and see how long it takes. The purpose of the test is to find out if the dog is really a fighter. Use your imagination, judge your courage based on performance during the test. If you want to know if your dog would give its life in combat, the test will end with his death. I can say with certainty that a dead dog is a bad dog, and that a dead dog cannot be a good father either. Many dogs die in tests at the hands of breeders who don't know what they are doing. Their story is always the same. They say, "Look, that dog, he was very brave and strong. Too bad he fared too far on the test." Any fool can kill a dog for gameness. It's up to you to avoid that. I observe a dog in a difficult situation for 30 minutes. During that time, I'll have time to see how tough he is. Sometimes I complete the analysis in 15 minutes. I have enough experience to understand this dog's game without having to take him close to death. I know what I want. I have already tested my method of detection of a dog gameness. In fact, some of them stopped during a long and difficult fight. But 98% of the time my verification method was right. It may sound like bluster, but I can actually analyze the gameness of a dog. No need to take him to the brink of death from rolling so much. I know some dog breeders who have the same skill. I also know experienced breeders who are unable to say whether a dog is a gameness dog. They will only find out in a serious fight. If you don't have experience or the ability to tell if a dog is gameness, call a trusted friend who has this skill while you test your dog. I will list some things important for me when I do a test to analyze the gameness. Does the dog think he is winning even though he is losing? Does he like to fight? Is the expression noticeable on your face? Does he stop trying to win? When such a dog is cornered, there is no doubt he will come back to fight. He's always looking at the enemy, he's always wanting to attack. He goes back into the fight, unafraid, going straight for his enemy. He holds the bite until the end. I breed and write my dogs in fights with Cajun rules. Cajun rules are gameness competitors. Getting back into the fight is the key. A dog can do badly in a fight. It can cry, stick its tail on its leg, raise the hair on the back of its neck, but if it returns in time, at the scratch, it can win. On the other hand, your dog can fight like a lion, dragging the opponent across the arena, tearing holes in the enemy. But if he thinks, whether or not he returns to the fight, you will lose. Your dog can be the best, be in front, but if he doesn't come back, you lose. That's why I think it's important, how the dog behaves in the corner, and how he comes back. If he hesitates to bite, the dog, or doesn't approach, I lose trust in him. The doubt of returning to the fight, or not returning, is the way to give up. When I watch a dog for 30 minutes and watch him come back to his opponent, without a doubt, I see that he really is a fighter. A dog for combat must always be a dog. Gameness. No test you do with your dog will guarantee victory in the fight. The idea is to analyze whether the dog is a dog. Gameness, and if possible without rolling. I'm not kidding, I've seen wonderful dogs destroyed by tests. These dogs passed the test, but never again achieved the same performance they had. During rolls and fights, I realized that dogs only get hurt when they can no longer fight back. If they're ready, they don't take serious damage, even if the fight is tough. But if the dog starts biting, throw him to the ground, and attack him, all the time. Your dog may try to grab you. It's like a boxer who can't defend himself. He is powerless to block, or to respond to, a blow. Then he holds the opponent, avoiding a blow, with full force. The same thing happens, with the dog. When he's too tired to fight back, he can get hurt, badly. Watch the fight carefully. If your dog is tired and unable to react, remove him immediately. If you are an inexperienced breeder, and you know someone who can help you test your dog, make sure this person is a trustworthy person. First of all, he didn't breed his dogs. He didn't buy them. He has not invested anything. What if he is not really your friend? It won't matter to him if his dog dies. When I started, with these dogs, I had an assumption, friend. He helped test my dogs. He had more experience than me, so I listened to his advice. Every time I tested a dog, he said that the fight should be more violent. And he asked if I wanted him to bring another fighter. Even when I was already happy with my dog's fighting style. He tried to make, I continued the test. Until I realized that when he tested his dogs, he didn't make the dogs participate in violent or long fights. It was only with my dogs that testing was difficult and time-consuming. He simply wanted to destroy my dogs. Perhaps, to offer his. He was not my friend. I find some tests, written in famous books, cruel and difficult. The book, 30 Years with War Dogs, by Armitage. Talk about a test, very difficult. He claims to be necessary, using 2 dogs, bigger than your dog, and ferocious. In the book, he states that the dog must remain, struggling, for 20 minutes, with the first big dog. And immediately, you must release the second dog. Your dog must fight for another 20 minutes. He claims that if the dog comes back into the fight after that, it's worth betting on the dog. I agree. A dog that survived this test, and return to fight. Certainly, he deserves to be bet, but that, if one day, he can be cured. I've seen several times, 2 dogs being used, to test a dog. In my opinion, not a good idea. If your dog fought for 20 minutes, he will be tired, and it will be difficult to resist a rested dog. And the second dog will beat him much harder than in the fight. To win a fight, bet. Your dog will fight only one opponent. Why test it with 2? Some dogs can be lethal against a dog. But he will be shy, or refuse to fight, if there are several dogs. If you choose a good opponent, 1 dog will suffice for the test. Test your dog, just once, to your satisfaction. Many times I have seen dog breeders test their dogs in a cruel way. And after 2 to 3 months, they test the dog again. I've heard some say that they tested their dogs 4 or 5 times. This is not normal. Test your dog hard only once, and never test again. The dog fight test is generally much more difficult than most fights. Dogs that have been tested 4 times, they can be considered winners of 4 fights. The moment the stupid owner finally makes up his mind, pluck up courage. After many tests, he bets on his dog. But the dog will already be exhausted, and will hardly win. Test your dog in the same way, regardless of pedigree. Many dog breeders test their dogs very carefully. They take care of the dogs, their lineage. If the dogs do badly, he apologizes, and picks up the dog. He will say, train them, correct them, do it right. Then give them tests, fairly difficult ones. A well-known dog breeder gives completely abnormal tests when the dogs that come to him are of another breed. He tries to prove that the dog of another lineage is not as good as the dogs of his family. He tests the dog, who wants to fail, very hard. The next day, when the dog is all swollen up, and in pain, he puts the dog, again in a fight, hard. So, he starts to get diaries, for the dog. Until one day, the dog refuses to fight. It proves that any fool can break a dog if he wants to. Usually dogs, from this breeder's main line, are not dogs, they have Gameness. His dogs would not have survived even 1/10 of the punishment he inflicts on dogs of other bloodlines. Other dog breeders are just as cruel as this man. Also, they tend to test dogs from other lines much more severely than their own lineage. I'm sure many owners lie about how much they test their dogs. And to what they submit, dogs, of other bloodlines. After all, we weren't there to see. So we have to believe what they say. I have often heard of a dog that has gone through unbelievable tests. And he never thought of giving up, and returned to the fight, like a hurricane. And this dog is said to have fought furiously with 3 or 4 fighters for nearly 2 hours. So this dog, it's staked in a fight. And he surrenders, in less than an hour, in single combat. How could this happen? It's very simple. This dog never passed these tests. This is a fictional story. I was in one of these tests, and I saw how it really happens. And then I heard about the same tests. And the test I heard about had nothing to do with what I saw. Let's say a dog breeder is with his friends and drinking beer. So, they decide, test the dog. They are all intoxicated, so they check their watches, and the test begins. After 15 minutes of fighting, he asks his friend to go get another dog. For this test to be really good, it takes almost 20 minutes for your friend to bring the new dog. So the dog rests very well. Then he puts his dog in a 10-minute fight with the new dog, and then the dog wants to get back into the fight. So to make sure no one doubts your dog's courage, he asks another friend, bring the third dog. This takes another 20 minutes. Then his dog fights the third dog for another 5 minutes, and his dog wants to get back in the fight, scratch. He glances at the clock, and it turns out that an hour and 10 minutes have passed. Then he says, oh, more than an hour has passed, and 3 dogs have been defeated. Who now doubts the courage of my dog? He did a light test, and turned it into something that didn't really exist. His dog has never been with a dog for more than 15 minutes. And he fought rested. So don't believe everything you hear. Most of these conversations are lies. If you put it, a healthy and robust dog against a larger dog for a period of 20 to 40 minutes, you will know a lot about your courage. Many dogs from my backyard have proven their gameness in 3 to 4 hour fights for my clients. I have never found it necessary to roll over a dog for longer than 45 minutes. Or, use more than one dog in the test. If you intend to test a dog that is over 6 years old, remember, this dog cannot be tested so severely. It's not the same as a dog, younger, so it's a health risk.
My name is Rodolpho Luiz, and I invite everyone to enjoy the knowledge of this wonderful breed. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. God bless you all. I went.